how do governments, especially governments of the developed economies and let's say organizations like World Economic Forum can ensure that the benefits or the dividends of the emerging technologies are available equitably to even emerging economies and countries?
This is a crucial question. The concept of the intelligent age, you articulated it very nicely now, because it is not one technology, a whole sets of technologies that are exponentially going to market and changing industry and society. And going back to the notion of agency, how do we, as civil society players, as governmental players, of course business as well, how do we have a sufficient agency in shaping how these technologies actually pan out? And so you may be familiar, there's a term agile governance. It's been around, particularly in tech circles, for some time, but in our view, that's actually the time right now to really think through, are we equipped, and if we talk specifically about governments, are governments equipped right now with the resources, but also with the mindsets and the procedures to be able to really be on the front foot and shape this? And of course, the other complication we have is that you are seeing in this fragmented world that there is a risk that certain technologies, and we're already seeing it playing out, are actually considered to be more a vector of competition.
Correct.
Trying to get supremacy. Some people are using the word supremacy in terms of certain technologies. And so, of course, that is also something that maybe certain instincts are there, but how are we nuanced enough around this? And how can we maintain a sense of agency in this environment? And just to say one last thing on this, it is tough, but at the same time, we saw what happened at the United Nations in September with that UN initiative around, at least, for example, do the first installment, which is this scientific body that they got agreement on from all nations, scientific body that can tell us what is the state of AI, so that at least we have certain, hopefully, objective data to be based upon. But it is, of course, going to be hard work. And again, back to the point of how do we reimagine cooperation, multilateralism for the 21st century.
Right. Mirek, also, I mean, India remains the fastest growing large economy in the world at this point. In a fragmented sort of economic world right now that we are witnessing, what is your expectation from a large economy like India? What role it can play to increase collaborative efforts as far as global economic development is concerned?
I think powers like India play a very important role because we, as someone else puts it, we have multipolarity. I mean, that's, I think everyone would agree that we have that. And again, the muscle of multilateralism, the architecture is maybe not as strong or as equipped. And it is really through actors like India that can actually, right now, it's a perfect time to actually be creative together and also show leadership in terms of, okay, what kind of collaboration do we need? And obviously, with the size of the economy of India and the diplomatic heft, it is actually a pivotal time for countries and powers like India to be able to shape the future of multilateralism, and they're doing it. And we are seeing, of course, a lot of new configurations emerging. Of course, we're seeing BRICS also growing, but all kinds of new configurations emerging. Also, at least some would say that we should look at some cases of regional collaboration. And if we take Africa, for example, we have the African Free Trade Continental Area, which shows a huge promise. We're seeing great momentum in ASEAN. And so it's also looking at possible archetypes in regions that can then help with restarting some of that muscle that we need for collaboration going forward.
On global level, we have various challenges right now. There is climate change, there is energy security issue, regionalization in terms of, different thought, I would say, thought process is driving a particular policy or an agenda at a national level. And then you have new administration in US also coming in. In this kind of a challenging, or I would say, scenario where there are a lot of headwinds, how efficiently an agenda like collaboration can be implemented.
So,
would you be concerned about the emerging headwinds, I would say?
yeah, no, I think I would say we have no choice but to be on the front foot, have agency, and think hard about how can we get things done in this new world economy. And so this is the spirit that we have. We actually, in a way, go back to the roots of this organization, the World Economic Forum, which was back in the 70s already. The spirit was, through this impartial global platform, we play a critical role in getting different regions and stakeholders within society to exchange views, to be able to define common future. And now you mentioned fragmentation or headwinds. So that function, in a way, going back to our roots, could not be more important. So we're kind of reinforcing that, putting it on the agenda again. And we think we have no choice but to offer this and have that spirit of being on the front foot and be solutions oriented.
Right. The biggest opportunity that world economy has today, and one biggest threat that world economy faces today, according to you?
The biggest opportunity, I think, of course, you could argue many. We are putting on the agenda here with the intelligent age, the fact that those technologies, undeniably, economists would agree, undeniably these technologies can help us with productivity growth. So huge potential for the world economy at a time when, as you know, the latest IMF figures are below trend growth, 3.3 2 years upcoming. But of course, so that but if I just stay with that, but then of course we work a lot on ethical use of these technologies. We work a lot on risks that are involved. We discussed a little bit the risks that are related to complicated geopolitics, but obviously there are all kinds of risks that we all know, and I would like to end with that. It is the ability to be on the front foot vis-a-vis these technologies, really thinking through the implications is very important, because the difference right now is that the complexity and the pace, particularly with AI, is unprecedented.
Now it's a comeback to the